right, hi everyone. Good evening. Okay, I'm gonna just do one technical thing here before we get started. Okay, make Tiama the host. Here you go. Okay, great. So, yeah, I'd like to first, I'd love to do a little check-in and just see if anybody has anything coming up in their practice that they'd like to check in about and talk about. Yeah, so Tayama, do you want to facilitate?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
The first person we have is Kristen.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hi, Kristen.
Sorry. Hi, Dan. Nice to see you. I think I have been struggling with processing with Tiama before this, like months before, and having a very quick awakening with her.
Mhm.
And now I'm having a comparison, and it feels, I know you said like just let it go, like let go of hope. But there's the ego or the character is, thinking, oh, what if I miss this? Or what if I don't, release whatever I meant to release? And it's playing because it remembers how easy it was. It was like, bing, like
Mhm.
almost like
Mhm.
just a tightening of a string of the guitar.
Yeah,
And now I'm like all loose guitar strings and nothing sounds appropriate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it sounds like there's like a memory of a past experience, right? Like the mind is sort of yeah, the mind is worried that it has to do something or manage things in some way, right? Is that, would you say that or?
Yeah, it's playing kind of like a catch up with that or comparative.
Mhm.
And um even I usually don't struggle meditating, and I mean I've had some pretty big tragedies happen in the last little bit with losing my mom and a relationship separation at the same time. So that's been kind of like swallowing me up till today, and now I feel like I've cleared a lot of that emotional processing, and then yeah, trying to play like a little catch-up game with myself or something. I don't
Mhm.
know if you could
Mhm.
give me maybe like a way to drop that, or a way to, yeah, it's almost like I forgot even how to like drop in the way I usually can. I can't explain
Mhm.
it. It's like with the ego and the mind is
So
very actively gripping on something.
yeah, so in this moment, like right now, if you intend to directly experience your true self, um, who are you in this moment? Like in this moment, tell me who you are.
There's awareness in the chest of a bit of anxiety. And then when it softened as soon as I drew attention to it. Or yeah, there's a spaciousness here and a peacefulness.
Mhm.
The character has softened in the chatter or the narrative that was playing now.
Mhm.
Mm. And there's an awareness of even discussing that with you
Mhm.
that helped unravel something there.
Mm-hmm.
It's-
Mm-hmm.
It was being seen as like kind of like a tangled bunch of yarn
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah. Good. So yeah, so that's great that there's a piece, really there's never any problem until the mind comes back and creates one, So so really the whole exercise is now like if you've probably, you've had peak experiences and you know what those peak experiences are like. And those will always come and go, like we'll never find some, super blissed out state and live there forever. It's like the human experience is this continuum of possibilities. But the peace of, that comes from not believing your thoughts, from just being in the present moment is always available, no matter what experiences are being had on that whole continuum. So whatever we've experienced in the past, we just drop it. The best thing to do is even the best experiences, you have a complete experience of it and then drop it, forget it, and allow whatever's going to come, and hang out in that peace. Just if you can be in that sort of still space, and just continue to inquire, and the clearing process will continue.
Yeah, I actually just of a study that I had done with Ho'oponopono. 14 years ago, I went and studied with this Hawaiian gentleman, and when you were speaking, I heard the poem, "The Peace of I," and it's basically, yeah. Now it actually makes sense to me.
Yeah,
You know, yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's great. And we like for a lot of times, we will get these glimpses, and there is an ongoing clearing process. So yeah, just keep being with you, just being yourself, and authentically showing up each moment. And if we can really get to a point where we're just doing the practice, and we actually love doing the practice, like we start feeling the benefit of just being in it, without any thought of what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold, because all of that the mind doesn't know anyway, so whatever it's thinking, it's probably not that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
I think it just took a lot of pressure off.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Kristen.
Kelly.
Hi, let me put my hand down. So when I meditate a lot, sometimes words get a little tough for me. So I'll do the best I can to try to express my question here. So I guess with this dyad and the instruction of tell me who you are, I'm at a place in my journey where I feel a deep knowing of who I am. And putting it into words makes me want to laugh more often than not. And is it okay? I guess the question is to like slightly modify, not that my partner has to ask a different question, but just the responses that come through. What seems more relevant was coming up yesterday, and then a lot today, is along the lines of how does who I am show up in this world, in this body? And a lot of what has been talked about with like choiceless awareness, to me, that does occur often when I'm meditating on a cushion and everything is still, the body is still, the mind is still, everything drops away. That's beautiful. But then eventually this body has to get up off the cushion and go into life. And there's choices, and staying in a place of complete I don't even know what the word is. That doesn't always seem feasible to me, and I'm teasing it out, and that feels more of a relevant question of how does
Yeah.
that who I am come into this body that does have preferences
Hmm.
and physical needs that need to be met, and life that needs to be taken care of, and all of
Yeah.
that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense, I guess?
Totally. That's a great question. Yeah, a very, very relevant question for everyone. Yeah, so one thing that stands out for me, first of all, you mentioned when you do the inquiry, it makes you kind of feel like laughing. So that feeling is important. You know, there's maybe a lightness that's starting to come there, and so that's the direction we want to go is you know in that you know whatever that feeling is, you know it probably like the laugh. There's freedom in the laugh, right? Like there's like a lightness. So you know whatever that energy is that starts to come there, that's you know taking you into freedom. You know that's sort of your compass, that feeling, and that you know it like we don't have to figure it out with the mind. You know the mind is always analyzing and evaluating and choosing, you know, but the energy just goes, you know, the laugh just comes, you know, it's more direct, it's immediate. And so as we go deeper into these dyads, that energy becomes more alive. It's just coming through us. It's spontaneous, and it's this more direct experience of life, you know, more childlike. And that's what goes into life is that energy. So the energy is choosing. It's not that there are no choices being made. You know, it's like of course you're gonna, you know, your body's gonna, your avatar is gonna choose the diet that is good for it. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna know how to steer the car and turn left and right to go to work and all of that. So it's not that things aren't happening. It's that awareness, the sense of I is with awareness. So awareness is choiceless. But and then the energy is just free. You know, it's like imagine a you know a piano composer, you know, giving a you know a virtuoso performance. You know, there's no analyzing, there's no mind, you know, choosing like, okay, I'm going to hit this note and now this note. You know, it's like the energy is just there. It's like everything is in the symphony, you know, and working, and it's mysterious. It's like this intelligence that's, you know, all the levels are communicating. You know, the heart and the mind, you know, the analytical. It's all one. It's all one performance. And that's kind of what it is moving towards, is this freedom, this unhooking from the little thinker, you know, that is making, that is analyzing and coming into the big mind.
I love I love how you explain that. And I'm actually an energy worker, an acupuncturist. So I know exactly what you're saying when the energy just moves itself. And a lot of times when I'm in a session with people, that's exactly what's happening, right? Like I'm not really thinking what I'm going to do next. My hands are just moving, and energy's moving, or oh, this needle should go here in this person's body. And it's all in the state of flow. And yet somehow being asked to talk about it
Mhm.
changes it for me, and it's almost like it takes me out of that flow
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just
So
being.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's so there's a way, because the words are just energy. You know, everything is that energy. So there's a way to unhook, because that mind that analyzes is just a limited, you know, part of the mind, and that evaluating part. And so there's a way to unhook from that, but still allow that energy to come through, allow the words to come through, you know, the poetry to come through, but it's not, you know, it's there's that self-consciousness, or that evaluating nature, is not, it can drop away, so it's more like a little kid. Like if you ask a little kid, tell me who you are, you get really cool answers, you get like very direct answers, and they're not like, trying to figure it out in an analyzing way. It's very, very simple and very direct, so it's more like that. Yeah, so it's possible. So it doesn't have to be, I'm in my mind and I'm cut off, from the energy, and it can be everything all at once.
Mm,
Hmm.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey man, how you doing?
Good.
Good. So you're kind of answering my question within Kristen's and Kelly's there, but there's kind of like there's like a flip-flop going on, it
Hmm.
feels like.
Yeah.
And there's like this strong sense of knowing, there's this feeling. I mean, I asked myself like 100 times this morning, tell me who you are. And I got a clear, concise answer. Initially, it was love, and then right after that, it goes, I am God. I am love. So it was a clear, concise answer as to what I am, but there is that flip-flop. And in life, there's these choices that need to be made, these hard choices. And I guess the question there as well is, does that play a part? Like, does that God sense, and I'm not speaking from that area right now, I'm thinking from my mind, but
Mhm.
does that play a part in those choices, those decisions that we're making?
Mhm. So the part of us that is like that recognizing itself as the divine, is that
Right.
like to me, the way I use the word God is not separate from the self. Like the closest we can come to God is, when we awaken, and we're, the little self is in awe. It's like this non-dual kind of awe state, and yet we know who we are in that moment, and that awareness is is ever present. So that awareness is, it's always available, and when the sense of I is with awareness, when just awake, like just here, then it's like that energy, like in Christianity, they call it spirit, that energy, or, the Hebrew ruach, which is Holy Spirit, so to me, that's it. Like it totally plays a part. It is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've like, I was having a question with myself between our break, the last break we had, and there's life stuff that's come up, and it's I was consulting that portion, or that God, and it was giving me like almost like a clear answer, like you're not there for that portion of your life, like you couldn't show up properly in that portion of your life if you agreed to that question, to that state or whatever. So it was playing a part, but it was, my mind is also like going back to the flip-flop, wondering, it's analyzing it, and it's thinking, well, does it really play a part? Is it playing a part? Is it that crucial to
Mhm.
playing a part in that portion of your life? So yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. So in the dyads tonight, yeah, we'll jump in. Let's see what happens in the dyads
Yeah,
tonight. Yeah, there's insights coming out of that, and yeah, let's explore. Hmm.
thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse.
Uneri. And sorry if I said your name wrong.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess my question is very simple. I guess I'm just still not getting the technique at all. Because like, okay, so when you ask that question, like I think it's just like I know the answer just logically, like you are the awareness behind all the experience because your experiences are changing. That's just like a logical thing if you really think about it, right? Because everything else is changing. The only thing that's not changing that you can say is you because you feel like you are like a constant since you, at least from birth to death, right? So the thing is the awareness is like that's the awareness allow all these experiences to unfold. So I understand that from like just the mind understand that. And it's like when you ask a question, the mind just say, yeah, that's the answer. But it's like then the question doesn't do anything to me because then that's the end of my
Yeah,
process
yeah.
basically. So
It's just a concept. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, so like the first thing is it's not a question, it's an imperative. So we're actually not looking for an answer because it's not even a question. Tell me who you are is it's like a command, like tell me who you are. So I'm not saying who are you? That's something different. That's a question. But tell me who you are, like convey to me, show me who you are, show me the truth of who you are. So what we're going for here is, you know, like an aliveness that will come through you, it's not that you find an answer, it's like you become the answer, you become that, so it's, so that you're right, that analytical mind, it's not very satisfying to just say I'm awareness. We want a direct experience of that. So in that inquiry we want to drop, the mind that's searching on that conceptual level, and really just be, when that imperative is posed to you, take a moment to just be. One of the things sometimes I say to people, instead of the tell me who you are, just be still and know who you are. Just be still and know. And don't look with the evaluating mind, the conceptual mind. Just be still. And what is there in that
then
stillness?
okay, so then there's another problem because then it's like I just feel like then I'm just gonna be sit there and sit forever. It's not fair because I want to just like making sure like the other person get a chance to because I'll just sit there forever. So and there's also that, right? It's like it just so I think that's
Yeah,
another
like
um
so, yeah, and like when you do that, if you be still and directly know, you can take some time, take a minute, 2 minutes, whatever feels right. But then usually, either you will know or something will come up in the mind to share, or in the body, So there is this clearing process. So yeah, just explore it. Just explore it.
okay. I guess like my second question is this like just kind of are we like looking for like a altered state of consciousness and that's like because I feel like and how important it is even to because you know how like some people they achieve this through other means, right? And then they I know people who just go out and achieve all these like blissful states and they do
Yeah,
meditation or take some drugs or whatever. But then it's like they come back to life, they're like they're not better people than just your everyday people who go to work, watch TV, and go to sleep, right? And it's
yeah.
like is how important is it even to like if you every day you kind of just like try to accept everything as it is, like that's I feel like that's like how important it is to even having to chase the is it like a state of consciousness? I feel like then you just
Uh,
fall back from it. And
yeah, no, the mind states are always changing. So this is not like it's not like taking a drug and this is finding out who you are, the truth of who you are. So to me, the analogy is like waking from a dream. So the character, is it unary? Is that how you say it? Yeah. Yeah. So the unary character, it has its own sort of program, its own kind of script in the play of life, right? So you've been playing that character, and so we, we can wake up from that character. And when we wake up from the character, then we're, a lot of the script of our characters is happening unconsciously. So when we wake up, we're free of that conditioning. So it's the difference between living, a scripted life, a robotic life, or a life that's free.
Okay, I know it's like ridiculous to ask this because I didn't even wake up yet or ever, but like I feel like, so isn't that possible that you wake up and you go back to sleep? Isn't I feel like that's the case for a lot of people that I know. Like they claim that oh they have this ego death or whatever, but
Yeah,
like they just
yeah,
fall back to sleep.
yeah.
Like
So yeah, so what happens is, and like what, so some people when they have that awakening, there's sort of a deepening of the understanding of it, and which is, when the Buddha talks about prajna paramita, the ultimate wisdom, it's actually understanding who you are, and so so the mind will always change, the mind will always come back, like the awakening, the experience part of it is always there, it's always phenomena and it's temporary, but the truth of who you are, once you get that, it can't be unseen. It's even if you go back into the matrix, and there might be all kinds of stuff that unfolds. Usually after an awakening, people's lives, it gets very clear for people what the patterns are, and the patterns might seem stronger than ever. That you can't unsee them now because you know the truth. You know who you are, and yet the patterns. It's like you've pulled the plug on the fan, but it keeps going. So there's an ongoing purification process that can, sometimes take a few years, sometimes it can take a long time, and it's different for everyone.
okay, thank you so much for I know I'm being a little bit ridiculous and negative, but like this is my
No,
honest
these
question.
are
But
totally. I think a lot of people would have the same questions. So yeah, no,
all
they're
right,
good
okay,
questions.
that's all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. So maybe we'll just do one more before we dive into the dyads.
Okay, let's do Kimmy. Can you unmute? Thank you.
Hi, Kimmy.
Hi, thank you so much for this very humbling experience. It truly is amazing. My question slash comment is um, perhaps confusing or befuddling me. Excuse the terminology, I seem to be lost for words. But in meditation, especially today, I have found myself where the little mind has been presenting thoughts, and immediately following those thoughts, there seems to be a very wise or more enlightened response to those thoughts that are coming up. Um, and I am present. I am observing both the initial thought and I want to call it the higher thought. I don't know how else to articulate or describe that. Um, so initially that has been confusing me, but in listening to the responses from Jesse, etc., and the build up to this point, perhaps there's a slight realization, which I need clarification on, in that perhaps that is how that operates now in life, going forward. Um, Although we say that in awakening it's a choiceless presence, in everyday practical life, we are now given the choice to have a higher perspective on the phenomena and experiences that are unfolding. Um, I'm not sure if that interpretation of what I've experienced today is indeed valid, and hence I'm seeking clarification, please.
Can you repeat that last part again?
Um, so the question is then, if you take this awareness into how it practically unfolds in our daily lives as our characters,
Hmm. Hmm.
is it not then perhaps that in our daily lives as these characters, when we are presented inevitably with choices, challenges,
Yeah.
experiences, we have the ability to have a higher perspective and hence make different choices. So,
Yeah.
although the awareness is choiceless,
Hmm.
the unfolding of the character's life involves choices,
Yes.
and the awakening is then a blessing that gives us a chance to elevate our response to the unfolding. I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like to me, the feeling is that, when we're awake, it's like we're playing the character rather than, um, being the character. So when that sense of I isn't with the character, then the energy is more free. There's just and that free energy. There's an aliveness there. There's a more of an immediacy with life. We're not filtering through this little evaluating filter. Choosing this and that. It's like the energy will choose. The energy will. It's like we do this all the time. Like there's layers and layers of our conditioning that it's just doing stuff. It's literally
Mm.
digesting our food and beating our heart, right? The energy's doing stuff all the time. So why can't it, why can't it choose? Why can't it move us through life? And it's a much more direct interface than when we're filtering through this reducing valve of the mind.
So just a follow-on question then, in the meditation, when the initial thought came and the more enlightened thought came, what was actually unfolding there, Dan? Was there still duality? Because I was observing it. I could see the two interacting and the second thought dissipating or responding to the first thought.
Yeah, yeah. So like I think I mentioned it earlier, there are parts of the mind that are, they have their own autonomy, even though it is all one mind. There are parts that have autonomy. There are parts that can observe the other part and even comment on the other part. And, so we talk about higher mind and lower mind sometimes. And, I don't really like those terms. To me, there's really one mind, but it has this capacity to compartmentalize itself, separate itself, observe itself in all different ways, and it can split off in an infinite number of ways. So the main thing is that you know who you are. You know, who are you that is aware of all of those conversations, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going crazy.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Okay.
No, the mind is, we can have, the mind can have conversations with itself. The mind is like the big mind, right now with all of these little boxes on the screen, the big mind is having a conversation with itself, with everyone I'm talking to is part of that mind. So it's all, and within us, it's the same possibility, the same divisions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're going to dive in. Um, how are you, Tayama?
I am ready. Are you
Awesome.
guys ready? Okay. And it's 40 minutes this round, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. See you guys. Have fun.
Yeah.
There's a few of you I'm just assigning to rooms. Hold on. When you come in after I made the rooms, I gotta find new rooms. I'm finding new rooms. Okay, Anna, you're going to 13. Okay. Well, ça va. I think we're good. All right. Okay. I think everybody is taken care of. Ça va. It's magic.
Perfect. Perfect.
It is magic. I had lots of facilitators come in late. When they come in late,
So it's like up for grabs. There's not one reality. There's not one. It's like it's open-ended. So any answer would be like manufactured and no more valid than another answer that goes in complete opposite direction. And now I'm like looking for connection, like trying to like establish connection to feel that. Picking up a bit of sadness. So there's the feeling that like it's all just words. It's like and all this talking and all these questions, it's like feeling that it's all just feeding the self-structure. Like it's just a self-structure, like engaging with its own like loops. That's like a feeling like that. Like the like something here is like feeling tired of it. Or like keep feeding that energy of this limited self-structure.
I see you, Dan.